mom insisted that I read that book, and all my siblings did. It was a book in the library of my home and was written by a gentleman by the name of Robert Schuller. The book was titled, Tough Times Never Last, but Tough People Do. Anybody heard about that book before? All right. I will recommend that every man in this room and everyone listening online, please go and read that book. I know that many times I have been called by different types of appellations. Some people say, oh, Fela Durotoye is a motivational speaker, an inspirational speaker, a transformational speaker. When I was running for office in 2018-19, I even heard that I was a revolutionary speaker. But guys, I have come with a sound of reality, but with the inspiration that will position you to make the most of what is about to happen. This is going to be a very pragmatic conversation that we're going to have. And the first thing that I want you to know is that there are tough times ahead. There are tough times ahead. I didn't come as a bearer of bad news. I came here to reposition you to make the most of what's about to happen. There is an ongoing war that is more than just breaking news. It is a game changer for the global economy. The war in Iran is more than the conversations that a lot of people are having. And what is surprising to me, even as a business leader and a management consultant, is I still haven't seen many executive meetings on Monday doing all of what is required to dimension the risks that are about to be impacted on the businesses. I've not yet seen the war in Iran on some of the agendas of the Executive Council meetings that I have privileged to know what's going on in their meetings. They're not talking about it. The war in Iran is still being seen as a conversation, as what's happening. Did you see? And people are commenting, but guys, please let me help you understand. That war is going to have real impact, but because typically Africa is what they call T+1 behind the timing of impact in the US. So if you go and look at whatever it is that happens on Wall Street, 1 year later, it's going to show up on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, probably also on the Kenya Stock Exchange. We are typically T+1. When things happen that impact oil prices in the US, or what you'll call the Western Hemisphere, it takes a little while before the impact shows up. But this one is going to be different. Just a couple of days ago, there was a news article, I think on CNN, that was talking about what's already happening in Kenya and how many petrol stations are already running dry because there is a particular choke point called the Straits of Hormuz. Some of you have heard that. Listen, guys, it's important for you to know what's going on around you so that you can know how to position yourself for what God wants to do in you. Please listen to what I said. It's important for you to know what is going on around you so that you can position yourself for what God wants to do in you and through you. The Straits of Hormuz allow for about 30% of the world's oil and petroleum products to pass from the Western Hemisphere and then from Middle East all the way across, so to China, to all across the world. And right now, there's a chokehold on it. Ships are so panicked about passing by because the Iranians are attacking the ships. And what the Iranians are trying to do by making sure that that chokehold is maintained is that it's the greatest battle they're fighting against the United States. Because in the end, The United States might always seem to get away with going up and doing things, throwing bombs, but the thing that matters to them the most, and to every president in the US, is their economy. And some of the things that happen in the economy are two things. Number one, the price of goods, and number two, inflation, which are two things that are very interrelated. So price of fuel, price of goods, and then just inflationary pressure. Please, I want you to understand that it is not going to take T+1 for us to begin to feel the pinch. It's already here. So everybody has to gear up for it, everybody has to plan up for it, and everybody has to be positioned in a way that you can make the most of what it is that Two of the world's most highly regarded economists. One is by the name of Ray Diallo. I want you guys to go and Google him. Ray Diallo. These guys have been known to forecast everything from the 1998 economic crisis. These guys they have invested in modeling that is remarkable. Anyway, Ray Diallo and Tom Friedman, two of the world's greatest economists, have said if the war in Iran goes beyond the next 3 weeks, we may enter into a spiral hole that will cause the world to relieve COVID. But it will be COVID in a slightly different way, because people will still have the capacity to move, but many people may not be able to move because of the social upheaval that is going to happen in countries because they cannot afford bread. And so what is the point between whether you are told lockdown that was based on the government saying everybody stay in your house, and you that cannot take your car out? Both of you are still on lockdown. Does somebody understand where I'm coming from here? And so Ray Diallo and Tom Friedman have said, if this war does not end in the next 3 weeks, we may go into a spiral that will cause the world to experience something like an economic lockdown close to what it is that happened in COVID. Now, how many people agree with me that to be a man in good times is hard? That even when times are good, it's still hard to be a man, isn't it? But to be a man in tough times is even harder. And the truth be told, only tough people are able to see through what normal people can't. And let's be clear, this is not going to be the toughest season that you've ever experienced. It's not the first, it won't be the last. One of the things that Robert Schuller was saying in that book is that there will never come a time when there would only be recession. That just by the laws of demand and supply, there comes a point in time when an upturn becomes the profitable venture for people who are investors. Does somebody understand where I'm coming from? So tough times will never last. But the question is, who will you be by the end of the tough term? I'm asking that. I want you to write it down. Who will I be? What will the tough times have done to me? And what will I have done in the tough times? I want you to write those two questions down, because I think that that's going to be the most important thing I want to deal with. What will those tough times mean? Daniel chapter 11 and verse 32 tells us something that is really remarkable. I don't know whether they can put it up on the screen for me. Daniel 11 and 32. Those who do wickedly against the covenant, he shall corrupt with flattery. And everybody knows this one. But the people, they who know their God, shall be strong. Another way to say it is, they shall be tough, and they shall carry out exploits. Somebody get that? So what are tough people supposed to do in tough times? Strong and what? And carry out exploits. It's not just enough for you to be strong to endure the tough times. It's for you to recognize that your strength is to position you to do exploits. I'm going to say that again. I think somebody might not have gotten that, so please let me do it again. Your strength is not just so you can endure the tough times. Your strength is so that you can do exploits in the tough times. So when, as in Job chapter 22 and verse 29, they who know their God and are able to do exploits are the ones who have the capacity to then be able to say that there is a lifting up when everybody in the tough time is saying there's a casting down. When they cast you down, or when they say there is a casting down, you, the tough ones who know your God, who are doing exploits, will say that exaltation has come in the time when other people are saying recession has come. But please understand, that thing is not just a confession, it is a position. I'm going to say that again. It's not a confession, it's a position. It's a mindset that causes you to position in a particular way during tough times. All right? DJ Paul referenced two key things that I want to please highlight here. The two toughest challenges you're going to deal with in the season ahead, where there's a likelihood that, combined with all the existing issues in Nigeria that have to do with insecurity and all of the things that have to do with the upcoming elections and all of that, on top of that, the global impact of the war on Iran is likely to still have issues with us. How many people know how much one liter of petrol is selling for now? 1,000, 1,200, 1,300. Now listen to this, guys. Please understand, it is likely to go up. It is likely to go up. Now you'll be asking yourself, why is it that we, an oil-rich nation, guy, first of all, understand, it's going up. My question is, how are you positioned for what is just about to happen, so that you can say there's an exaltation? That is the key. Don't run commentary at this time. Have true conversations that will lead to contribution. Did you hear what I said? Commentary does not change things, but conversations that lead to contributions are the things that lead to transformation. Be careful what you're saying and to whom you are speaking every time things begin to look dark. Please show me the 4 circles. Let me help you understand. When it comes to mankind and during the time, family faith, there are 4 key concentric circles that the enemy will try to attack. Which one is the one that he's likely to attack first? From the outside. Finances. When things get more expensive, even if your income is steady, you still have less disposable income. When the price of diesel and please understand, the price of diesel will go up because we still import some diesel. 60% of our diesel is still imported. Please understand that the Strait of Hormuz means that diesel tanks have not been able to pass by, which means that you have, in a sense, reduced our supply, which means that in a short while, diesel price is going to go up. When diesel price goes up, your children's school who run on diesel are going to say, after about 3 or 4 weeks, it is time for us to increase school fees. You are asking why. They say because diesel has gone up. They have not yet linked it with Iran war. But it's not just diesel prices that are going up. Please understand, the cost of food, tomato, pepper, and all of these things are likely to go up. This is just because of what is happening and the economic impact on the world. So I want you to please understand that there are likely to be a financial pressure that is going to come on everybody. How you react to that pressure is very key. Because many times the first thing that most people do is to try to go into what they call a financial constraint. How do we spend less? And that is wise. But they that know their God, they don't just think of how to spend less, they think of how do we make more. It's a completely different mindset. This is not the time for recessionary thinking. This is the time for expansionary thinking. This is the time for you to start thinking about growth. Somebody say growth. They that know their God, they shall grow. So don't start thinking of how to start cutting your coat according. No, you cut your coat according to the vision that God can give to you, and you make moves. Some of you are going to buy lands because somebody else who does not know their God, who God loves but is not the one who knows their God, is going to want to sell off his land quickly. Cash is king. I don't know whether you understand what I'm saying. This is the time for positioning. Tough times will not last, but those who are mentally tough, emotionally strong, spiritually they have spiritual fortitude, they are the ones who will do great things. Is there any of them in this house? Let me just see you. Wrath and doubt are likely to be the two most important weapons that the enemy will use against you at this time. And please let me be clear. Once pressure begins to show up, the first place you're likely to see that pressure is in your field. Organizations have already started laying off people. And as you can imagine, once they start laying off people, then again, those individuals, their finances is further impacted. And it is impacted with no hope of their next salary. I pray that nobody in this room is one of those that will be laid off. But listen to me, even if we have found stories of people who came to their understanding that, listen, my God is my provider, even at this time, they went to their provider, what do I do? God opened a door for them, and by the end of the conversation, a couple of, putting things to work, all of a sudden, boom, they've been able to do business that they were not doing when they were in employment. Now they're making much more money. So let me help you understand. The love of God is going to guarantee that you will always be all right. Is somebody here? But if you allow the pressure to come in, it will come through finances to field, and then it will touch on family. The first person that begins to bear the brunt of financial pressure on men is who? The wives. Because you are now saying, don't you understand? You don't even know what I'm going through. And because you think that they don't know what you're going through, and they are not feeling the way you are feeling, or they don't seem to be under the pressure, or they are the carrier of the needs of the children to you, regardless of whatever your supply is, you think that they are not in touch with you. Please let me help you understand. The reason why the enemy wants to attack your marriage is twofold. Number one, so that you break faith with your wife. And I want you to understand that breaking faith with your wife is not only infidelity. Even though we have also found out that apparently pressure on the relationship, many times, if the person doesn't have the guardrails, can lead to infidelity. Can I show you how? Because many times once the wife begins to question her husband, and begins to, the guy attacks her back, she becomes defensive, they don't have conversations, now she doesn't know what really is going on. She's still having to communicate the needs in the house to the man. All of a sudden now the man is saying, listen, you don't understand me. Now they're no longer praying together, they're no longer talking together, they're no longer in agreement on the things that they need God to do for them. Guess what's going to happen? It will begin to impact their sex life. And once they lose that intimacy, the man under pressure will begin to look for sources of pleasure. If he can't get that pleasure within his home, if he does not have boundaries, preset boundaries before the pressure, will start looking for pleasure outside his home. So please understand that whilst the devil does not intend to marry your wife, he wants to scatter your marriage. Can I be clear about that? He's not just your wife he's after. Let me tell you, the people that he's really after is your children. What the devil is after is to make sure that you, the epitome of faith and righteousness to your children, when your children begin to see their father and their mother arguing and fighting, they now begin to say, is this what Christians do? And once your children can begin to say, oh, my dad is a Christian, my mom is a Christian, yet there is no peace, they don't want to be Christians. So the faith of your children is at stake depending on how your family absorbs the pressure. Is somebody understanding what I'm saying? But please let me help you understand that the real goal of the enemy, put that slide back, is not your finances. The devil cannot spend your money. It's not your field. He's not trying to be the CEO of your company. It's not your family. He doesn't want to marry your wife. What the devil is really going for is what? Is your faith. Because we have it on record that Abraham believed God and it was counted to him as righteousness. Please understand. Faith cometh by hearing. And without faith, it is impossible to please God. So what happens is a lot of people, when pressure comes, they begin to talk to everybody else except God. And it begins to impact your prayer life. And you begin to wonder if God is really good. Because the few times that you pray, you are wondering, is he even hearing me? Is somebody here? I want you to understand that what the enemy wants to do is to put you into a chokehold that looks like this horse. Horse, Shay. Look at this. Anybody see this? What do you see? I'm sorry? Can anybody see the amount of horsepower that is under control? Do you see it? Of what? Does that horse believe that the chair can hold it? What will happen if this horse were to sneeze? The chair will fly. Will that horse move? No. Why? Because it already believes that whatever it is tied to is stronger than it. When did the horse believe it? Was it when it was tied to a chair? It was tied to something stronger. And how did the people know that the horse was ready to be tied to a chair? On the day it stopped trying. Once it stopped trying, listen to me, what the enemy is trying to do is to get you to a place where you stop believing God. You will always believe. You were created to be a believer. It is either you believe God or you believe things. You believe man. You will always believe something. You will believe the news. You will believe the word of the enemy. If you don't listen to God, please, I beg of you, understand, these tough times are not a time for you to leave God. This is the time for you to cling to God. Is somebody still here with me? Please help me understand this clearly. Are you here with me? Romans chapter 12 and verse 2. Romans chapter 12 and verse 2. Very important. God is telling you that in times like this, do not be conformed to what you are hearing on the news, factual as it may be. The internet is one source, the holiness is another source. But many people don't have subscription. But, somebody say but. Meaning, leave that one now. Focus on what I'm about to say. Be transformed. How? By the renewing of the mind. What you saw with that horse was that it had been conditioned. The mind of that horse had been conditioned. When you come into the crucible, what you're trying to do here is to renew your mind. This mental conditioning. We've got to be able to make sure that we break the chokehold that the enemy is placing on how we think and what we believe. Is somebody still here? Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Why? So that you may prove what is the good, pleasing, and acceptable and perfect will of God. The reason why you're going through that transformation is so that you can know what the will of God is. And you are able to prove. The word prove there is experience. Experience the good, pleasing, and perfect will of God. Please give me Jeremiah 29 and verse 11. This is what God is saying to you. I want you to hear it first from Crucible. He says what? Let's read together. 1, 2, 3, go. For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, says the Lord. Thoughts of peace and what? And what? Please understand that even when nasty things are happening, it is not God's way of punishing you. He's not thinking evil thoughts about you even when times seem to be evil. Can somebody help me understand? Let's finish that. So that it will give you what? A future and a what? A hope. The challenge is that the will of God, whilst it is intended to give you a future and a hope, unfortunately, it is not the way that we think that he thinks. Jeremiah 55 and verse 8 to 9. Let's move quickly, please. Jeremiah 55, 8 to 9. I'm going somewhere. I just wanted to just land this and share a thought with you. Remember what I'm saying. I don't want the pressure to get inside you. I don't want the pressure to get inside you. And can I quickly say that the truth about it is that pressure will always come to reveal what's inside of you already. A gentleman once said to me, he said, you know, Fela, my wife brings out the worst in me. I asked him, who put it there? He said, who put what there? I said, you said she brings out the worst in you. I said, yes. I said, who put the worst there? You cannot squeeze lime juice out of an orange. It is what is in you that will be revealed when pressure comes. Does somebody understand what I'm trying to say? It is either going to be the fruit of the Spirit that will be revealed under pressure or the works of the flesh, but it cannot be both. Does somebody understand where I'm coming from? Jeremiah chapter 55. Are you ready? Let's go. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, nor are your ways my ways, says the Lord. Next verse, verse 9. Let's go quickly. Thank you, media. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. Please understand, the way that God uses to deliver exaltation to the children, to his own beloved, is not the way that the beloved will have thought about it. This is not the time for you to be relying on experience. Experience can be very misleading in tough times. You've got to be open to learn, to try, to explore new things. During COVID, as with most people, we were all at home, and just like all of you, especially for those of you who have kids, we were at home with our children, not knowing how long the lockdown was going to be. Most people couldn't, especially if you're doing business, number one, you couldn't get new clients. Number two, even if your clients were owing you, you couldn't even ask them for the money. Nobody was earning. Anybody was like me there? My case was even a bit more complicated because we had just started building an ultra-modern leadership development center. We had sunk in significant amounts of money in January, and then the lockdown happened in March. So our strategic reserves were low, and yet I still had staff to pay and a home to run. But thankfully, I did something that I do in my toughest times, because I do it when times are not tough. I went into my secret place. That's my own crucible. I locked myself up for 3 days, didn't come out of my room. And I kept on asking God one question. I said, Lord, show me the light at the end of the tunnel. On the third day, I heard God say to me, my son, stop asking for light at the end of the tunnel. Ignite the light in your heart and you will see your way out. And you will lead many others with you. I asked God, what does that mean? He gave me 3 questions every man must be able to ask. Are you ready? Number 1, who can I help? Who can I help? Question number 2, what can I help them do? And question number 3, how can I help them? Who can I help speaks to a demographic that God is sending you to as a helper. You see, what happens is during tough times, we carry the mentality of a help. Somebody who needs help. Whereas what God is saying is, they that know their God know where your help is. I will lift up my eyes unto the hills. That's the tough time. But from whence cometh my help? My help cometh from where? So I am not lacking help in my time of need. I am lacking understanding of how I can be a helper in my time of need. Did you get it? Who can I help? You don't have money, you are talking about who you can help. Yes, sir. Because you are not supposed to pursue money in tough times, you're supposed to attract money. And money will come to a helper, not to somebody who is looking for help. People will run away from you the more you call them asking for help, but they will always open up to you whenever you are looking for who to help. Is somebody with me? So I had to change my mindset. I had to change my mindset. Science, you see, science. I had to change my mindset. I want you to look at this. Can anybody tell me, what do you see? No, come on, guys, talk to me. No, now let's say it like a crucible. 1, 2, 3, go, Sherry. He told you before, do not be conformed to the patterns of the thinking. Where did you get science from? Please understand, you got science from a pattern. You had seen this thing before. Listen to me, in tough times, you've got to think differently. And the only way for you to be able to think God's thoughts is to go to God and sabba with him. You know that one they call Takuti Jesu? Like, oh, Lord, until I know your thoughts, I'm not living here. Because I can't walk this walk by myself. Does somebody understand what I'm saying? These tough times are the times to run into the cave. Right? God is looking to raise helpers, not just people asking for help. Exodus chapter 10 and verse 21 to 23. I want you to see what happens in dark times, in dark seasons. In dark seasons. Let me read to your hearing. Then the Lord said to Moses, stretch out your hand towards the heaven, that there may be darkness over the land of Egypt, darkness which may even be felt. Serious darkness. And so Moses did that. So Moses stretched out his hand towards the heaven, and there was what? Another version says gross darkness in all of the land of Egypt 3 days. Let us look at what the impact of darkness is. Let's go. Verse 23. They did not see one another, meaning there was no recognition of opportunity. They couldn't even see. You couldn't see who your customers were. Your customers could not see you. You could not recognize the people that you were seeing, especially opportunities. Neither did anyone rise from his place. So in the time of darkness, gross darkness, the first thing that happens is no one rises. Which is why they that know their God, God said to them in Isaiah chapter 60, they that know their God, what happens to them? Isaiah chapter 60 and verse 1. Let's go. You know it already. Let's go. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord is risen upon you. Is this in the time of light or in the time of darkness? How do we know? Verse 2, let's go. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth. Ooh, that is like the time of the Egyptians. And deep darkness the people, gross darkness. But the Lord will arise upon you, and his glory will be seen upon you. So listen to this. God arises upon you in the time of darkness. Glory arises upon you in the time of gross darkness. The value of light is in the time of darkness. So what you are looking for is, where is the light? Don't look at the darkness, look at the light. Genesis chapter 1 and verse 2. God saw that the earth was void and darkness covered the face of the earth. God did not comment on the darkness. He never said a single thing about the darkness. He didn't say, oh, darkness, how dark thou art. He simply said, listen to this, let there be what? And where did light come out of? Out of darkness, meaning that, listen, your breakthrough is coming out inside this same recession. Does somebody understand where I'm coming from? Are you sure you're getting what I'm saying? But you must understand that you can't figure it out. You got to go to the place where you will download revelation and then mix it with understanding, or with information to gain understanding, and then listen to how to be able to execute, so that you can, through wisdom, take action. That's what you do. It is part of what is called the perfect plan. In 2005, I saw something that led me to tears. On the front page of a newspaper, it was said that 84.6% of the students who sat for NECO did not have 3 credits and a pass in maths and English. Therefore, they had failed. So the title was 86% of NECO students fail. That was the headline. They said 1,018,000 students sat for NECO, 866,000 of them did not pass. Initially, I was about to just flip the page when God said to me, those are not numbers, they are shattered dreams. Shattered dreams, wow. He said, if you don't fix those things now, they'll become a nightmare to everyone. So what can I do? And God asked me a question, 4 questions. I need to test you with this, A, B, C, D. The first question God asked me, he said, are you willing to accept responsibility? To me, how can I accept responsibility for the performance of students in NECO? Am I the Minister of Education? I'm a business consultant, mostly for the banking and finance sector, dealing with things like leadership, service delivery culture, and all of those kind of things. That's what I do for a living. What do I have to do with, he said to me, are you willing to accept? Somebody say accept. The second thing he said to me, do you believe you can make a difference? Somebody say believe. The third thing God said to me, he says, are you willing to commit what you can to make this situation better? And the fourth thing he's asked me is, are you determined to deliver my will, my desire in this situation? Please understand, if you don't meet those 4 criteria, you cannot be used by God in tough times. You have to be willing to accept responsibility even when we're not accepting blame. Nobody's apportioning blame to you. But if you don't, listen to this, if you don't accept responsibility for a solution, you are not qualified to solve the problem. Can somebody write that down? If you don't accept responsibility for a solution, you cannot solve the problem. I spent 3 days in my office, only taking a shower in my ensuite bathroom. I came out with a 38-page document for educational strategy called RAISE, Revive Academic Excellence in Our Schools and Educational Institutions. And then the Lord told me to write a book that will help young children. And I thought, I've never written a book, and I'm not even an educationist. He asked me those 4 questions again. Can anybody remember what is A? Accept responsibility. What is B? Do you believe that you can do this, especially with the help of God? What is C? Are you willing to commit your time, your energy, your resources? And what is D? Will you deliver on the outcome, deliver on the instruction? So between December 26, 2005 and January 6, 2006, I stayed in my study, and God will breathe an ice cold breath right here around the frontal lobe of my head, and I would hear like as if somebody is dictating. I'm typing as fast as I can. I did not go up to my bedroom, even though I was in my house over that Christmas break. I didn't go up to my bedroom once, except on the night of the watch night, 31st to 1st of January 2006. And even at that, I didn't stay in my bedroom. I just went up, prayed with Tara, and went down immediately. It was New Year. You see, to be strong and to do exploits requires a discipline to know what God is thinking and to do what God is saying, even though it doesn't make sense. Long story cut short, it took us another 9 months to be able to perfect this book. 9 months. 9 months. On the 6th of September, I told you I finished the book on the 6th of January. On the 6th of September, I sent the book that had been worked on by 28 experts. Because excellence is the nature of God. God said to me once, my son, your desk is an altar, your work is an offering, but the excellence of your work is a sweet-smelling savour unto me. Don't ever do anything for God that is not excellent. It is His spirit of excellence that will find His work in you to produce excellence. Long story cut short, we paid for 500 books for 960,000 naira, and then the printer gave us 501 books. So I had 1 book extra. The day I received it, I knelt down to pray on it. I heard in my spirit, give out all 500. I started to rebuke the whole, like, God, where? Long story cut short, God said to me, listen, there are 2 things the devil can never tell you to do. Number 1, he can never tell you to give up to give your life to Christ. Number two, he can never tell you to give, because he knows if you give, it will come back to you, good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over. So now what do? He says, I want you to give out all 500. I gave out the books for almost 2 years to different people. And in fact, at one time, I packaged 36 books in each box. I sent it to 36 governors. I didn't follow up on any. I just sent it. Cast your bread on many waters. At the end, sometime in 2008, I had one book in my office and one book at home. I went for a meeting, a typical usual client meeting with the Intercontinental Bank, and to cut the long story short, the woman who was in charge of customer service, that was the dimension I was consulting for them for, the woman said to me, I hear you have a miracle book. I said, oh, thank you very much. She said, please, I hear the book has not just been transforming children's results, it's changing the children. You see, God wrote the book. I didn't write it, I just typed it. And so, long story cut short, she said to me, please, can I have one copy? I said, oh, I'm sorry, I've given out all. And I heard in my spirit, you have one copy left. I'm thinking, what? Now I quickly thought, it's true, I got 501 copies. How many was I supposed to have left? After giving out all 500. But how many did I have left? I had one in the office and one at home. So I told them to bring the one in the office, because the lady asked me, do you not even have one left? And then as soon as they brought the book, she said to me, oh my God, this is so beautiful. This is amazing. Oh my God, this is the kind of thing we should be giving out to our children that have accounts with us, not this one that we give them umbrella in the time of Harmattan. And she said to me, how much is it? I didn't know. I've not sold any. But I heard in my spirit, 2,500 naira. So I said 2,500. Remember, he's the Lord, the God that cheated you to profit. I did 500 books for about 1 million, which is about 2,000 per book. So he had taught me to profit. And then the woman said, only, if you see, as I was eyeing the Holy Spirit, she said to me, please, can I have 5,000 copies? She said, if you send me your invoice today, we'll pay you 60% upfront. Intercontinental Bank paid 7.5 million into my account that day, knowing that there was not one book left. The next morning, the CEO of Fidelity Bank called me through his PA, asked for 1,000 copies because the book had done something that I sent to him, had done something for her. That evening, the wife of the MD of GT Bank called me, told me that the book was doing incredible things. Anyway, long story cut short, GT Bank bought 2,000 copies. All of this without one copy of the book left. I already had 10 million in my account in 2008. Then the next thing, the governor of Oyo State called me and said he wanted me to come. Asked me if I was from Oyo State. Long story cut short, he said to me, this book has helped my daughters and it has transformed their results. Now I want it to help the children of Oyo State. Asked the Commissioner for Education, how many students are sitting for NECO? The commissioner said 48,150. He said, I want a book for each one of them. Does anybody remember where the thing started? Where did it start? NECO. It started with NECO, now coming back to NECO again. On the day Oyo State bought the books, it was 125 million naira at that time. God asked me, what is the exchange rate? It was 125 naira to $1. He said, you have just made your first $1 million. Now, please understand, let's go so that you get this right. There was a problem, darkness covered. But what God does is that in the time of darkness, he sends you a word that bringeth light. And when that word brings light, please help us appreciate Reverend Dr. Olumide Emmanuel. Right? Are you listening to me? My time is almost up. Are you listening to me, guys? Shall you get Project Raise ready? It is important that you understand that God's will for you in good times and bad times is always for good. It's just that in the time of darkness, that is when your light has value. So darkness comes and puts the earth under constraint, but it is just so that Romans chapter 8 and verse 21, 22 is so that it can be put in the hands of the children of God. This is why God allows the earth to go through problem. The problem was not against you, it was for you. The downturn was not against you. So if you allow the pressure to come because you are thinking science, the pressure will hit your field, hit your family, and hit your faith. That is not the will of God. This is the time for you to arise as the helper, asking, who can I help? How can I help them? What can I help them do? Does somebody understand what I'm saying? Listen, my time is over. I just want to show you a quick video. Oyo State, God said to me, my son, the children of Oyo State are not like the children of Intercontinental. I said, okay, Lord, what would you have me do? He says, I want you to go and train the children of Intercontinental. I'm of Oyo State. Train them. Yes, 48,150 students, say yes. And then I saw a vision of the children sitting down in the hall wearing uniforms. I said, why are they wearing uniform? God said to me, as to cover the shame of those whose uniforms are torn, seated beside the children whose uniforms are clean. I said, but Lord, why are they writing? He said, you are going to give them notepads. Notepads, 48,150 students. He said, yes, and pens. He said, but why are they eating? He said, because you are going to give them food. Wow. Lord, but I don't understand, why are they drinking from bottled water? Because I don't know what's going on here. He said to me, because many of them have never drank from bottled water. I want them to drink for the first time. Remember, every 10 naira I spend is 480,000 naira. So imagine this. And then I said, okay, no problem. Let me go and ask Oyo State. God told me Oyo State will not give you the money. I said, where am I going to get the money? He said, why do you think I gave you the books? So now, as I close, please watch what happened with your own two eyes when God did a turnaround in an Oyo State.